I'm David Okada, a producer and journalist at MNN. I'm pleased to be conducting the Asian American Film Lab TV interview today in the arts and entertainment section with some gentlemen from the Asian Film Lab. So we have Tyler Pong and George Bridges.
Hello.
So why don't we start first with you, Tyler? And if you can tell us a little about the Film Lab and what they do.
Yeah, so the Asian American Film Lab is a group that that supports and showcases Asian American filmmakers and creatives, and not just Asian American, but diverse and gender equality. So the Asian American Film Lab is all about representation in media. Me specifically, I helped or I coordinated the 72-hour film shootout this year, which is a filmmaking competition where we encourage filmmakers to write, shoot, and edit a movie all in 72 hours. And during the pandemic this year, it was quite the feat for our filmmakers.
I was going to say, so tell us a little bit about some of the challenges you had.
Yeah, so at the beginning of registration, we had no idea that the pandemic was going to break out. So we were expecting this to be a regular competition. This was our 16th year, so the competition kind of has a flow to it. But now this year,
this occurs in March, correct?
Registration starts in March, yeah, okay. And then the competition itself is in June. So filmmakers have from March until June to get all their teams together and get ready for the shootout. But everything from the writing to the filming and the editing happens within the 72 hours in June. So that's the bulk of the work of the competition that happens.
Right, but this year it started a little later, didn't it?
This year everything kind of had to spread out a little bit because we had to keep delaying because of all the problems with COVID. We were hoping that things would get better, as everybody was hoping earlier in the year. I remember when COVID just happened, everybody was like, well, maybe by the summer things will die down, which obviously they didn't. So we had to encourage people to make their films this year while following COVID safety guidelines. So we encouraged people to make their films at home with the people they're quarantined with, or doing it over Zoom. We had a lot of creative filmmakers filming separately in different locations, but making it look like they were together. So there were a lot of creative ways that people adapted to the circumstances of COVID.
A lot of editing, I assume, right?
Yeah, a lot of editing.
To make that all work?
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of shorts that were inspired by Zoom meetings or Zoom conversations too. So a lot of COVID themed pieces as well.
So you're an actor, and you also have been participating with the shootout for a number of years. So
yes.
Since you're the coordinator this year, how is that different than being a participant in submitting film and being the actor in, maybe as a cast member? So how is that different? And then number two, what kind of value did you get by doing it that way?
The big difference is that, well, as a coordinator, you're in charge of the entire competition. I'm not taking part in the competition. I'm not making a film to win prizes. I've done that in previous years, and I loved it so much that I wanted to help facilitate these opportunities for other up-and-coming filmmakers. So the big difference from my role this year is that I coordinated the competition, whereas in past years I took part in the competition, and that's really how I fell in love with it and why I wanted to take on the role of coordinator this year.
Now, this is a global event, so as a coordinator, it must have created more challenges. You probably didn't know all the challenges that were involved in coordinating a global filmmaking event. So,
Yeah.
how was that?
I mean, like the global aspect of it is exciting to know that filmmakers from different countries are submitting and filmmakers from across the states. The Asian American Film Lab really started in 1998 in New York, and since then it has expanded across the country and has gotten interest from around the world. And now the competition has a huge base in Los Angeles and California, which is where I am. And yeah, just seeing the competition grow throughout the years has been really cool.
So tell the audience now a little bit about sponsorship, how that works, and then what are some of the benefits in competing, and how does one go about competing?
Yes, good questions. All amazing questions. So we had a lot of recurring sponsors that come back each year. NBC and ABC are both major sponsors giving mentorships to winners in the competition. But we also have returning judges in Solar Productions and the Asian American Research Institute, and Batsu and Face Off Unlimited are huge sponsors of the shootout and have come several years in a row to sponsor self-tapes and tickets to their shows. This year, I was super excited to get Masterclass as a sponsor for the competition. They provided Masterclass all access passes, which are $180 value each, and we were able to give them to the top 50 filmmakers. So that was a great resource that we were able to give people, an educational resource during a time when people are stuck at home. So I felt that was an amazing contribution this year from Masterclass, and we were also able to get sponsorship from Final Draft. They sponsored their software for winning filmmakers, and I'm actually wearing a shirt from the Creation Project, and they sponsored the Outstanding Female Content Creator Award with a cash prize, and they've given out tons of swag to people, including myself. So they've been an amazing contributor as well.
So you were coordinator. Now, this changes every year. It varies about the time frame, but what are the qualifications or prerequisites if you want to be a 72-hour shootout? What is that?
That's a good question. Yeah, I mean, like, I would say, like, the big qualification is the passion in filmmaking. I'd say a huge benefit would be is if you have experience with the competition as a competitor. Me, as a former competitor for almost 10 years, I knew the rules inside and out, and I knew a lot of the details going into it. So a lot of that was kind of second nature. So I feel that people coming into this position, it's helpful if you have already taken part in the competition in the past. So I feel like that's a huge qualification for anybody who's taking on this position. Other than that, yeah.
Go ahead. So the pool of people that you would look at as candidates are people who participate in the past.
I think that ideally for me, that would be an ideal coordinator, but you wouldn't have to, that's not make or break. I would say you need marketing skills, social media skills for sure, because a lot of my time was spent on social media, finding competitors and also finding sponsors to help get the word out. But having that ability to communicate and market are invaluable in this position.
Yeah. So now we're going to switch to George. So George, you are responsible for the community outreach liaison.
Yes.
Now, does that incorporate 72-hour shootout, number one? And then what other events are under that program?
Well, I basically began as the unfinished works coordinator, as an unfinished works coordinator. So Jen's basic.
So tell us a little bit about the unfinished works coordinator. I mean, what is that? I'm not familiar with that, so maybe you could educate us as to what's involved.
Yes. Yes, David, thank you. The unfinished works coordinator, first of all, Unfinished Works is one of the oldest programs within the Asian American Film Lab. And it's basically whether you're a screenwriter or you just have, as Tyler mentioned, some type of passion for writing or film, or just a basic interest in film or the film industry, or we appeal to you because you're an ethnic or something like that, because that's one of our main things, is that we promote gender and ethnic diversity in the film industry. So that could be something that you're passionate about, and that would draw you to the Unfinished Works program also. So if you're any of these things, then that would work for you. And of course, some of the criteria, and if you meet some of the criteria, is that there has to be an Asian character, at least one Asian character involved in the script. And it has to meet other criteria as well, in terms of, well, it can't be too long, it can't be too short, and it can't discriminate against anyone or anything like that.
All right, so from what you're describing, I think I attended one of those workshops. This is where there's a reading and you have actors reading a screenplay, and then there's feedback before it actually gets produced. Is that the same program or is it different?
Yes, that's exactly right. That's one of the rewards of being in the Unfinished Works program, is getting feedback so that possibly that can help you to improve your work. So you're absolutely right.
So during COVID, now in the past I attended one of these events. So now with COVID, you can't really do that anymore. So how do you run that program now?
Oh, the program is definitely up and running, and I encourage you to sign up for our or register for our 11/20 event. We're doing everything virtually, so we're learning as COVID progresses, and we're dealing with COVID. We're definitely progressing as well in terms of how to promote and how to maintain ourselves. And going virtual is definitely one of the outlets for promoting our programs.
So what other type of events do you have? Now, just going to your website, I see there's monthly screenings, and then you have industry panelists that participate. So are they still conducting those screenings, and how does that work?
Yes, all of our screenings, all of our programs are basically still up and running. And as I mentioned, everything is basically virtual now until we can figure out how to safely. Some of the writers and actors, they're actually requesting that they went and inquiring about as to when we will actually be able to meet in person, and they'll actually be able to conduct their workshops in person. And we're currently working on that. And as soon as we find a way to safely and socially distance these programs, they will continue in that format as well.
So then that will be live, and you could attend those events.
Exactly. Yes.
But that's in the future.
Yes.
Okay. So what other programs fall under your responsibility? And does the online, I guess, seminars, are those part of your program as well?
Yes, they are. And my job as a community outreach liaison is basically to attend the meetings and find out what's going on in communities and how we can collaborate and incorporate those into our programs. And currently I'm meeting some wonderful people, some wonderful organizations, and we're basically working on collaborations. And one of the most interesting that I've done so far is we're trying to do a collaboration, and I'm learning so much about bees. Would you believe that? Bees.
Which one?
Bees. How they pollinate.
Oh, bee pollen. Okay. So
And
what are you learning about bees?
well, I'm learning the different ways in which they pollinate and how they actually help the environment. They're actually very helpful to the environment and to agriculture and all sorts of things.
And now you have an actors directory. Are you responsible for that as well? And then, as I recall, the actors directory gets involved in some filmmaking projects. Is that correct?
Yes.
So could you explain that a little bit?
Yes.
How that works?
Yes. That's another one of the criteria, especially for the unfinished works program, is that you must cast your actors from our actors directory. And in that sense, it helps us and it helps them as well. And it's great because it's such a great collaboration with the screenwriters or whoever's producing the workshop.
So, okay, so two things. How do you get in the directory? What's the qualification to be placed in the directory? And then that's the pool that you go to find actors, correct? Or maybe some film projects, or even script writing. So how do you get into the directory?
Well,
anyone go in?
I'm sorry, David, what was the question?
Can anybody go in, or do you have to have certain qualifications?
Well, such as most things, there are criteria. And I should know this better than anyone because this is how I got into the film lab, is that I'm an actor. And so I met Jen at one of the events and she explained the criteria to me. And one of the criteria is that you have to have two references, two people that can vouch for you that you're a good actor and a good person, and which is very important. And then once you submit that to the film lab, that's how you get into the film lab, basically from being referred by someone that can vouch for you.
Okay. So now you mentioned that there's another event coming up in November, and that's a workshop.
Yes.
So is it on Asian American Film Lab's website already, or is it being planned?
It's definitely on the site already, and you could actually go to the site and register. Okay. Anyone can go to the site and register.
And it's open to the public?
Yes.
Okay, that's fine. So, no, I mean, that's good. I mean, I'm learning about all the programs. And what about the TV, I guess they're TV shows, and then you have films that are produced that Asian American Film Lab has as, I guess, the sponsor, or they're the producer of it?
Yes, we have our AAFL TV. That's our own TV channel. Okay. And you can subscribe to that on YouTube. I highly recommend that you go to it on YouTube because you can actually see all of the films that are from the 72-hour shootout, as well as some of our other content as well. We have a wide variety of content. I'm sure you'll really enjoy it.
I think I will. I'll have to go there and check it out because I missed the opportunity to do some of the screenings that Tyler had. So I can go watch them still. I didn't really miss anything then, right? It's on the website.
Yes.
Okay. So now, is your program an annual thing that rotates like Tyler's, or are you a permanent, you're a permanent position that never changes?
Yeah, I'm a permanent fixture.
Okay. So we know that you're always going to be there.
Yes, yes.
So if anyone wants to find out more information, they go to the website, or they
Yeah.
can contact you, George, right?
Yes,
Okay.
I'd love to hear from you.
All right. I think our audience would love to hear about it as well. So I'll ask you the same question I asked Tyler. What value do you receive by, number one, being participant in Asian American Film Lab, and then specifically in your position?
Well, first of all, I'm learning so much. So the value is, as everyone who's participating in any of our programs is learning, I'm learning things about myself. I'm learning about other cultures. I'm learning about the struggles of all different types of people. And so as people are learning, I'm learning, and that's the value that I'm getting. And I can actually explain that and to other people and help other people to get value as I'm getting value.
So as an actor now, we'll go your role as an actor, because you said you discovered this via acting. So from your acting career viewpoint, is there anything that you didn't know that you're learning now through Asian American Film Lab?
Yes. The one thing that I've learned from Jen is that her thing is that you're not just one thing, you're many things. So even though I'm an actor, I'm also, I'm a person that can explore the community and come back and tell other people. I can be a filmmaker. I can be a screenwriter. I'm not just one thing. And even though I'm an actor, I'm much more than that.
So have you tried writing script and screenwriting?
Not yet, but I'm basically trying to learn behind the camera things.
Oh,
So whenever we're filming,
you want to be a producer or director of film?
yes.
All right. So Tyler, I'll ask you the same question. You're an actor. By being affiliated or associated with Asian American Film Lab, has that broadened your skill set in being an actor? And
Yeah,
number two,
absolutely.
I guess, are you in the actor's director?
Being part of the Asian American Film Lab has definitely helped me as an actor. In previous years, when I took part in the 72-hour shootout as a competitor, I've won Best Actor and have gotten opportunities to meet executives at different networks through the competition. And not only that, but getting exposure from the film that I made by submitting it to different film festivals as well. We have, this year we had a lot of sponsors from different film festivals, like the Philadelphia Asian American Film Festival, the Los Angeles
I'm familiar
Asian
with
American.
Philadelphia. I know someone who runs that. It's sponsored by the state, actually.
Oh yeah, I mean they're great. They were amazing
terrific
this year. Yeah, they
Rob,
gave
Rob Boucher, I think, was responsible one time. Did you know him?
Yes, yes, I do know him. I actually, one of my past films in 2014 for the 72-hour shootout screened at Philadelphia, and that's where I got to meet Rob. So he's amazing. I was dealing with Selena Yip this year, who was in charge of the Philadelphia Asian American International Film Festival. But not only did we have those people involved with promoting and accepting films from the shootout this year, but we also had PAC Arts Movement, the San Diego International Film Festival, jump on as well, offering a VIP package to the grand prize winner of the shootout for their 2021 festival. Obviously, 2020 is a bit of a
we're finished with 2020, aren't we?
Yeah, yeah, pretty much. So one of the prizes was a grand prize for the San Diego International Film Festival. So a lot of the shootout offers exposure, and I feel like that's how I've benefited as an actor as well from participating in the shootout as a competitor. And now as the coordinator, I was able to network with a lot of the judges and the sponsors and even the competitors who have been amazing advocates for this festival.
So now, do you get roles like Jen does, and you have an agent and you get offers?
Oh, I have an agent, I have a manager.
You know, either through the Asian American Film Lab or by networking with some of these judges and executives.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, that's the whole point, is to make these connections, and then eventually they'll pay off in the form of auditions and opportunities. So in the past, we've gotten opportunities for sure. Over at NBC, a lot of the former winners have gotten screen tests at NBC, and also have taken part as readers in the NBC's Writers on the Verge program, where they present scripts to executives. So there's a lot of opportunity for exposure.
Fantastic. George, did you ever compete in the 72-hour shootout?
Not yet. Well,
I mean,
actually,
it sounds like you can make a lot of contacts as an actor.
well, as an actor, I can't, because that would be a conflict, kind of.
I see. So you're not eligible to compete.
Currently, no.
Okay. All right. That's fair. That's fair. Well, I thank you, gentlemen. I found this fascinating, and we look forward to next year's 72-hour shootout, and
Thank you so much,
look forward to all your workshops, George, and see what's going on, and meet some interesting people. I mean, hopefully in person, but if not, virtual is okay.
Thank you, David.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, Tyler.
Thank you so much.
And thank you, Asian American Film Lab. Be on the lookout tomorrow for some other exciting interviews.